You know what gets a bad beat up? Man of Steel.
A lot of people did seem to like that, though. Wasn't it just the fanboys who didn't?
Yeah. Miserable cunt. So yeah, Man of Steel.
So 2013, Zack Snyder.
This is the beginning of the DCEU. Before they got a few films in and went, oh fuck. We need to change direction. Let's make it more like Marvel.
Ironically, they've got, in my opinion, because I'm not really a comic book nerd, but I still think Batman and Superman are probably the two biggest, most iconic superheroes. And yet they're playing catch up.
Although you could say they kind of set the bar with 78 Superman and then 89's Batman.
And then the more recent Batman series, the Christopher Nolan Batman,
the Nolan ones.
Awesome.
Yeah, they're great films.
I think it's just, they just felt that they had to do this cinematic universe like everyone else and their dog.
And when it comes to Superman, I liked the Christopher Reeve films. And then you got Superman Returns. And then they came out with this one. And I've always dug Man of Steel. Henry Cavill makes a great Supes.
Yep, he's got the look.
He definitely has the look. People, I think, go at this one for being a bit miserable and a bit grounded and a bit gritty and it's a bit meh. But they couldn't remake the 78 film. And if you do, you get Superman Returns. Let's not go there. They had to do something different. And Zack Snyder's a great visualist. This movie looks great. And it opens with more action than the Superman Returns had in its whole film. The whole sequence on Krypton that starts this thing. I mean, that's some big action. Russell Crowe's out there kicking ass. And it also introduces to Michael Shannon.
I really enjoy Michael Shannon when you see him on screen.
He's an intense man.
Yeah, he's always very intense, very imposing. Yet when you see him just by himself, just in interviews or whatever, he's just this sort of surfer dude.
He's just chilled. Michael, we need you to be a little bit more. And you get that. Which is, he makes an awesome Zod.
This film was successful in the cinema. It was popular. People did like it, but I just think the hardcore fans had a problem with it. Do they have a problem with his lack of respect for people or...
The third act had a lot. The third act goes into disaster porn. But I remember watching that thinking, this is just like a 12-year-old boy's just dream in terms of you had two Supermen and $100 million budget having a fight in the middle of a city. That's what you get.
Most of the destruction is because of Zod.
It's the world engine.
Yeah, the world engine and Zod cause it.
Well, he doesn't try to lead Zod away. They just fight. The other big thing a lot of people had a problem with was him snapping necks.
But he just did that to Zod. And spoiler. But
he had no choice.
Zod was just about to kill people with his heat vision that he just discovered.
Don't do this!
And he was going, I am going to kill every one of them. I am going to do this. There was no way to fix that situation.
And Zod's not human anyway, so...
And it's not like he was all like, eh.
No, he was broken up about it.
He was broken up about it. Much like the fanboys were.
It's got 7 out of 10 on IMDb. It's a fun action film. I really don't understand why people had an issue with it. It does tell the original story, the origin and all that of Superman, but it knows that we know a lot of that already. So it just did it in flashbacks and just showed some key moments in his life why he had to pretend to not have superpowers.
Yeah, to hide those powers. And not having Clark Kent in it and not, they changed it up a bit. They couldn't just redo what had come before. They had a great Lois Lane and Amy Adams. She did a great job. She's got that right amount of grit. She's not quite Margot Kidder, but there's only one Margot. But who was it? Kate Bosworth in the other one, who looked like a 12-year-old who somehow had a kid.
Yeah, I don't remember much about the 2006 one.
It's awful. That's all I remember. It was awful. Absolutely awful and boring. Somehow they made a Superman movie boring. At least Superman 4 has a cheese factor that can't be beat.
Yeah. It's also got Lawrence Fishburne.
So he makes a great Perry White.
He's one of those actors who's always enjoyable.
Diane Lane.
And Kevin Costner.
They make a great pair of Kents.
Yeah, they were perfect for his parents.
Absolutely. There isn't anyone in this movie that feels miscast. There's a fat ginger kid that looks like a middle-aged lesbian.
Was that just so that when you see him later in the job and then she goes to meet him, that you instantly know who that is?
Oh, it's him. I just felt sorry for the kid. Oh, that's wrong, but I still had a good chuckle at that. It has a Hans Zimmer score. Blah!
What hasn't he scored?
No, I think they automatically just say, "Oh, Hans," and he's like, "Fuck it, I'm busy," and that's why they don't have him.
Hans, Bubby, come and score my film.
I'm your white knight. It's got a lot going on for it.
As a big blockbuster action film, it delivers, and it is a lot of fun.
Once you get to the fight in Smallville, that movie does not let up.
And even up to that point, there's a lot of action going on. It's never boring. I think we're only preaching to...
fanboys aren't going to listen to us. Cop's a bit of a bad rap because people pick on Zack Snyder.
He's not the subtlest of directors.
No. I did watching this the other day, and I pick on this normally. There's a lot of shaky cam. So Zack, buy a tripod.
As far as critical acclaim, it was a bit mixed. I think the audiences liked it. I mean, that's quite often the case. The audience reaction's different than the critics.
I think a lot of people were put off by the destruction porn at the end. It was just a loud, shaky video movie with lots of special effects.
Some things didn't make sense to me about the logic of Zod and his cronies coming down their superpowers and stuff. Didn't, to me, I mean, I guess I don't know the mythology too much, but it didn't quite add up. But, it's one of those things where you can just go with it. You just forget about it.
Yeah, I mean, it's Superman. There's a point in a lot of movies where I go, fuck it, just roll with it.
And as far as all the films in the cinematic universe, so when you've got Man of Steel, Wonder Woman was good.
Yep.
They're kind of the two highlights, really. The rest have been a bit hit or miss.
Shazam was... they're all the same fucking movie, let's be honest. They are the same movie over and over again. That's not really a defense. That's all the same fucking film.
As a Superman film, it was very enjoyable, and I can't really understand any complaints about Superman's actions throughout it. I thought they were quite justified, and he fully understood his actions and was broken up about having to kill Zod, but his hands were tied, really.
His hands were tied. Couldn't get over it. So what do you think of Man of Steel? Well, do we really want to hear what the internet has to say about Man of Steel? Or has there been enough whinging in YouTube forums about it already?
Yeah, probably. Is it opening a can of worms?
Opening a can of worms. And if you don't like it, we don't want to hear it.
Do we do another like and subscribe?
Yeah, at some point.
Actually write them down.
Write them down and just sit there and read them all off and just put them all on record.
As if anyone's watching at that point anyway.
No, they all switch off long before then.